first impression, because it's a very important part of communicating your branding. And in the past, first impression usually was made in person. But now you know that we can actually create that first impression also via the digital means. If you have your business, people check your website. If you are on LinkedIn and you connect with your potential partners, you might meet them by speaking on the phone first, and then they connect with you on LinkedIn. Now think what kind of impression you make via those online touchpoints. You're getting there to your question, right? And think what kind of first impression you create in person, like you did now when you met a person you never met before. Now, what is a first impression? First impression is something that is linked to the way our brain works. And our brain is a structure that is a million years old, right? It's something that we inherit and develop from our ancestors. And how it works, the brain has a library of information. When we meet someone for the first time, first thing we see is what I call a snapshot, a person, a face, right? If I see Patrick only once, or I say Lisa only once, and someone takes her away from me, I have very little data about Lisa. I see how she looks like, but my brain doesn't like to have blank spots. My brain will fill the gaps with the information from the library we have, right? And I will show you how it works. I will now tell you that you have to imagine something, and I want you all to imagine that one thing. I will say nothing but a dog. Imagine a dog. Right? Do you have a picture of the dog in front of your eyes? Okay, and I will tell you, imagine a black poodle. How far was your idea from what I said now, a black poodle? Very far. Okay, then if I tell you that you're going on a date, Klaus, checking if you have a wedding band, just in case, and I have a nice girl for you. Now you have in your head an image of a nice girl, right? Now, then you are meeting the nice girl and she's nothing like you've imagined, right? Why? I didn't give you much data, but you filled whatever I said in your brain, the blanks, with information, right? Why I'm talking about it? First impression is not a real one. It doesn't say a truth about a person. It's mostly our perception, our stereotypes, our expectation, our aesthetics. Someone might say, Patrick looks fantastic. Others says, he's overdressed. Other people say, no, he's not. Yeah? It's our opinion on Patrick. Same, Klaus, right? He had an expectation for a nice girl. And he maybe imagined a tall blonde. And she turned to be a short brunette. He created expectations. The problem with your brand is not how great you are, but how you manage other people's expectations. And that's exactly with the products. Marketing is all about creating expectations. But brand delivers on experience. People will have certain expectations for a lawyer. We will have certain expectations on keynote speaker, right? Or a leader. Our expectations are something that come from us, from our stereotypes, our beliefs. That's why one person says, oh, he's a nice guy. I know, I met him. He's total badass. How often you talk to someone and your opinion about the same person is completely different? It comes from the fact that when we meet someone, we have very little information about that person. And that impression that that person creates in that second, impression that you create another person, is not a real you. Because it's very little data. It's more the perception of you. So you can influence it, but you cannot control it. Very often you go for an interview and you think you are fantastic. The conversations went absolutely perfect, but you don't get the job and you just don't understand it. You simply didn't fit a certain expectation of that person. That's why usually when you go on interview, you meet 2 or 3 people. Because people have to come together and talk about you, because each of them will have different impressions based on how they perceive you. Although they read the same resume, right? That's why you have to always remember the impression, first impression you make, it's an important one because it's a lasting one. If you have a positive feel about someone, if you create the connection, they will give you a second chance. They will want to follow up, like Prince with the Cinderella. But if there is no connection, you had just had a bad day or it didn't work out, you might not have the chance. So think about the first impression and think that you might create that first impression by telephone, speaking to the business partner, via LinkedIn, when the recruiter comes across your resume, via email that you send to someone. What do you communicate? What is your brand? What a reflection of what? What does it say about you? Again, this is one of the touch points that we can discuss in a second.